Welcome to Main Asia, a new podcast series by Lifestyle Asia. Our guest is someone who needs no introduction. She's fierce, glamorous, artistic, and most importantly, an absolute darling. Renowned drag artist, Opera Tang. Welcome on the show.
Hi, thank you for having me.
We'll jump straight to the first question. Can you introduce yourself a little bit, especially for our audience who may not have heard about you?
Hi everyone, people of the world. I am Opera Tang and I am a Singaporean drag artist, drag queen, drag performer, drag clown. And I'm mainly known for my Asian-inspired, Singapore-inspired, Southeast Asian-inspired looks, as well as my grandmother, my relationship with my grandmother, who is one of my main inspirations in my drag and one of my top supporters.
I mean, you have a whole documentary made about your life, but is there something that we don't know about you?
I think I'm come to realize within the past few years that I'm actually quite introverted. Compared to all these big personalities that you work with on stage and dance with on stage, I thought I was an extrovert or maybe an ambivert, but next to them, I could be an audience member next to those people. So when I'm on stage, I put on a persona to engage and entertain, of course, which is my job. But yeah, when I'm off stage, I don't keep to myself, but
decompress.
I take a breather in terms of my extroversion and but I'm not closed off anything. It's just for me to recuperate, I guess.
Do you have a routine that you use to kind of like calm yourself down or like prepare for a show?
I doom scroll on Instagram and TikTok maybe. To prepare for a show, I never calm down. I think I need to get into the stage of like frantic panic that I do work and then I perform well. Yeah, so
you perform well under pressure?
Yes, I perform well very
like
well
a diamond?
Yes. Maybe. I should have one more. Yeah, but my ADHD just makes me procrastinate to the last minute and then I'm just in the zone when I'm under pressure. Yeah.
Can you tell us a little bit about your childhood?
My childhood was a mixture of emotions, I guess. I was trying to find out who I was and then denying who I was and then trying to fit in. I think lots of people go through these phases. I was quite a loner in primary school. I think for the fact that I may be a bit autistic, I couldn't make friends really easily, maybe because the guys didn't like me because I was too feminine. But I did have many female best friends, women best friends, girl best friends. And it was only in secondary school that I made my first maybe male friends because I tried to fit in more and I tried to deny the femininity and try to be more mask and that kind of thing. Yeah, so it was like a whirlwind of trying to find myself. And then maybe in junior college, I started to accept myself more and then watch all these not BL documentaries, just finding out more about the LGBT community across the world in history and in Singapore. And that's why I started to come out. Yeah. I think that's the end of my childhood, I guess. Yeah.
And then also you also grew up in the era where information are so accessible and acceptance are a little bit more open at the same time, right?
Yeah. So I was born in the start of the digital age. So dial-up internet was just dying off and then Google was there already. So information was very accessible and maybe not as accessible as it is now and as open as it is. But yeah, I had to do my own research, I guess, in that sense.
Growing up, like what you said, you won't be able to fit in sometimes and sometimes you find those challenges. I think a lot of us resonate with those stories. We all do have our dark past. Yeah, and I do believe that along the way, you grew up to build the right support system.
Yes.
Right? And then for you do have someone special, your grandmother.
Yes.
Can you tell us a little bit about her? How is she?
She is doing well at 93, 94, going on 94.
Wow.
And she is doing her exercises daily. She is up cooking by her own volition for the family. And she has a strong sense of duty to take care of her grandchildren. Yeah, and she's very cognizant and I'm very privileged to have her in my life. Since I was young, I always felt that it was safe to talk to her about anything, even though I wouldn't be comfortable about thinking those thoughts whatever it may be. I just found that she was a safe space and
Yeah.
she was non-judgmental and I could communicate with her. Because she was the one who brought me up in kindergarten, the early parts of my primary school.
So you've always been living with her since you were a kid?
Yeah. During my secondary school years, she lived with my uncle, but during my primary school, early development years, my grandmother was there. Both my parents were out working, trying to support the family, and then my grandmother and my granddad, they spoke the Chinese variants, Teochew and Hokkien, and also Bahasa Melayu a little bit. So that's why I can connect with them on that level.
And how did you actually manage to convince her to appear on social media?
I don't think I needed to do much convincing. I think my grandmother is more of an extrovert than I am actually. So when we're out in public, people recognize us. Like those times, she's the one who is like, "Oh, hi," yeah, and she likes the fame, I guess. Yeah, she likes.
So she liked the attention.
She doesn't live off it, but she interacts and engages with it much better than I do, I guess.
Because my experience is always when you're trying to shoot someone, maybe like an elderly person or my mom, they're like, "Oh, stop shooting, don't do it." Yeah, and they get very shy about it, right?
No, so she was quite a natural in front of the camera.
Amazing.
Yeah, at the start when we started filming for social media or whatever it may be, she just didn't notice the camera in her periphery vision, I guess. But when she knows there's a camera there, she'll try to play to the camera a bit. So I needed to remind her that she needs to like just relax. And
Maybe
just be
in her
herself.
younger days, she kept some secret from you.
Maybe she was a Hannah Montana that I didn't know of. Yeah.
Speaking of your grandmother, you recently went on a holiday trip with her.
Yes.
Was it the first time you traveled with Amma?
It wasn't the first time I traveled with her because I traveled many times with her with my family. But it was the first time I traveled with her, just her and me. So, but there's also my cousins in the Philippines where we went to that definitely supported and helped out. But it was a bit nerve-wracking for me because I was like, I need to protect my grandmother. I need to make sure that she has the best insurance coverage. I need to make sure that she has leg room and she's uncomfortable in the flight and stuff like that. But I learned to loosen up. It was a week-long trip, and I learned to loosen up during the trip because she is her own person and she's very independent. So I'm glad.
How was the trip though?
It was easygoing because she's like mid-90s already. We couldn't go like to the theme parks or anything, but she could like trek up a few flights of stairs. We went to a mountain in the it's called Tagaytay. It's like a volcanic crater with a lake, and she could like navigate with her walker and a walking stick on the terrain. Yeah, so actually she's quite independent and outdoorsy when she needs to.
So I think I want to ask, do you have like a tip for those who plan to travel with parents or grandparents?
Like elderly?
Yeah, I think I need the tip too.
If you want to travel with them, you have to also have their interests in mind and what they like to do and what they would like to see. So my grandmother, her main drive for travel is the food. And she ate so much. I didn't know she could eat so much. Like during the hotel breakfast, like there was a Filipino spread. She ate all the longanisa, the champorado, the local dishes.
Yeah.
She was quite explorative. And also, she was also open to like doing the tricycle rides. But obviously with my cousin's cousin, so it was slow and everything. Yeah, so she's quite adventurous at her age. So there wasn't a lot of persuading. But any tips? I would say ease of mind, get insurance, get travel insurance. If anything happens, touch wood. We stayed at my cousin's place on the last day, and there was like a 2-story building situation. She could get up and down the stairs, but ideally, maybe stay in a hotel that's accessible. Yeah. So I think next time we go to anywhere, we'll just stay in a hotel.
So is she planning the next trip already?
She is already going on a trip to another country with my parents next month. So
nice.
She's jet setting.
Wow, more than you do.
Yeah, my goodness.
I think the internet love the content that you made. I mean, like watching you spending time with Amma, making those beautiful dresses, and her being part of the documentaries that you are in and the countless interviews.
Yeah.
How is it like actually spending time with Amma for you personally? Because sometimes what you see on social media or what's that's being captured in media may be very different from in real life.
It actually came really naturally at the start because I just shared my experiences and the day-to-day on my Instagram stories. I didn't really document our relationship because I wanted to keep it maybe just out of the public eye and private. as time went on, I like interacted with her more on social media, and then I posted videos with her. I didn't know that this was such a, up to today, I was like, this is a very natural relationship I have with her. But obviously my eyes have opened, and I understand that I come from a very privileged family upbringing in terms of them being open to me pursuing this career and me being feminine and loving all things womanly. Being born a boy. And my grandmother has always been like a pillar of strength and support for me. So sometimes I think I do take it for granted. But now, as I'm growing older, I cherish it more, and I want to document everything that I'm doing with her. She won't be with me forever.
Yeah.
So like these are the memories that I want to capture today. That's
why.
Yeah,
of course.
Yeah.
And you see right now, like there are more and more grandma contents
Yes.
that are happening online.
Yes.
And more people are bringing their grandma out into the social media.
Yes, I think that's great. Grandkid, grandma, grandparents, alliance against a common enemy. No, I'm kidding. It's always like one of the strongest and purest things. I think grandparents also try to maybe sometimes reparent because they may not have given their best to their children, or maybe they may already have, and they may just want to relax now with their grandchildren, just chill the vibes,
Yeah.
So I think that's the situation my grandmother and myself. Yeah.
It's also reminding me of my grandmother. I was her favorite.
Yes.
I spent most of my childhood till I was 10 with her. Coming to Singapore, I'll be the only one that will follow her.
Oh my goodness.
And then like making belacan back home, and all of that little memories. And for you, you had that relationship with her. But can you maybe share with us like one special moment that you had with her growing up that is still very vivid in your memory right now, on how she supported you through the best and the worst of times?
I don't think my life is that dramatic where there's, or maybe it is, and I'm just like bearing the trauma. But one of the clearest memories that I've ever had with my grandmother was when she made this, to me when I was a very young kid, she made this beautiful satin wedding gown for my sister's Barbie doll, which I played with much better than she did. But it was this, I think, off-the-shoulder princess cut, like train dress with Velcro on the back because it's easier to put on a doll that way. But I remember just being so, enthralled by it because it was so beautiful, the silhouette of it, and I could play with it and maneuver with it. And I think deep down inside, I also wanted to feel beautiful in like something similar in a dress. Yeah. So I think that was like one of the earliest memories that I could imagine very vividly. I could remember very vividly.
And you mentioned earlier in one of the interviews that you had a little secret with your Amma. What is that secret?
I don't think it's that much of a secret, but like I just don't tell anyone who because they won't know about it. Is that when I was younger, when my parents were out, when my grandma was around, I would tie like towels around my waist to mimic a dress, and I'll just play like tea party in the living room with my yaya and my grandmother. So I felt really beautiful in an A-line dress, high-waisted dress like this, something like this.
And she would just play along.
She would just play along. Like no like judgmental stares from her. Maybe from my grandfathers, but like not from her. And I just felt like I could express this joy unfiltered.
Let's move on and talk about the drag and LGBTQ plus community here in Singapore. Can you tell us a little bit about this community?
I think the LGBTQ scene in Singapore has been growing in visibility over the years, but we've always been here. And queer history in Singapore is actually quite well documented. You can go on tours around Singapore, understand like the queer history of certain places. But I think after the pandemic, drag scene in Singapore is seeing like a renaissance in a sense, because there's so many baby queens now popping out and they want to do drag, and they're so inspired by certain reality TV shows, and they're so open about it. I think that's what's fabulous about the younger generation these days, is that they're so open to trying new things and also supporting their friends trying these gender non-conforming careers or activities, right?
And you also have like a space for you to perform, a safe
Yes.
space for you to
Exactly.
show your art.
Singapore has always had like LGBT friendly venues. Some is closed, some is open, and they cycle. But there's always been safe spaces created by the community for the community. Different groups within the community also, like gays have their own thing, lesbians have their own thing. Ballroom culture in Singapore also is growing.
Oh,
And,
okay.
yeah, and that's like a parallel but separate thing from drag culture. For the drag scene, there are a few drag houses in Singapore, and they go way back.
Yeah.
Way back in like the history of Singapore, as far as that can go way back. But not everyone has the privilege to have a supportive family, and they find chosen family, right?
Yeah.
And a lot of these drag houses are those pillars of support for
Correct.
like baby queens or whatever queer activity that they want to do. These houses are like the smallest unit in this queer society, you know, and they support and they create their own activities, safe spaces for queer people to enjoy themselves and be free and safe.
And for those who are watching, and if they want to find you in Singapore, where can they find you perform?
Right. Yeah, so one of the drag clubs, Singapore's first drag bar actually, it closed down recently, but there may be something upcoming, so stay tuned. And I can't say too much right now.
Oh.
But yeah, so just stay tuned for that. It's going to be headed by one of Singapore's most like entrepreneurial drag queens, Salome Black, and also the Coven of Black, the Black Coven.
So you don't have a regular place that you perform?
So previously, yes, but it
okay.
closed recently, and that was the club that I was performing at.
Across the border in Malaysia, right, we take on a more conservative mindset, unfortunately. But can you maybe share with us, how was your experience like performing in Malaysia last year?
It was quite fun, and the community there are so open and so supportive. And the queer parties there, it was like people from all walks of life, and they're so open and so, I would say, again, open and supportive of all the performances. The difference between drag culture in Singapore and Malaysia is that one main thing is that Singaporean drag queens maybe just perform 3 to 5 minutes maximum for one number. And in Malaysia, it's 7 minutes minimum, I think, and to 12. Yeah, I think they also told me it's because they have a very few and far between opportunities to perform. So they just do it like a whole production in one performance. Yeah, so when we went there, I was like performing a 5-minute number, just a matter of 2 songs. I was like, is this enough for the Malaysian audience? Because they are used to like longer productions.
Yeah.
We're just very happy that they called us over. What is the name of their...
You were at She God.
Yes, She God. I was going to say, yeah. So yeah, we're very fortunate that the She God Queens asked us to come over, and they funded most of our travel as well. We also do some cross-cultural exchanges in the sense they come to Singapore and perform. Some of the queens there, like Carmen Rose, Cassia Rose, her daughter, Giselle, Acne, they came to Singapore to perform also at Riot and the other clubs here. So yeah, it was fun. But another main difference is also quite a touchy subject is the police there, the religious police that may or may not raid the parties. Yeah.
So you are always on kind of like on your toes?
I would say they reassured me that because I have a Singaporean passport and I'm Singaporean, I wouldn't be a target in a sense. But I'm just thinking about, at the back of my mind, right, these queens have to be thinking about this and then perform and then entertain, but still be wary, and they have to have escape routes, you know. So it's not a thing that we have to think about in Singapore. So I feel like they are the real drag queens. They are the ones that are protesting and like advocating for their rights. And it's also gives, I don't know, it's a bit sick, but it gives a bit of exhilaration that you are fighting for a cause and there are so many people rallying for you against a common oppressor.
Yeah.
But I think there's a lot of middle ground that can be highlighted also.
Yeah. I mean, speaking about drag, let's go on a little bit lightweight.
Yes.
How would you describe your drag style? Are you more a fashion queen because you obviously make your own dresses?
Yeah.
Or are you a look queen, or are you a performative queen?
I kind of dub myself a drag artist now because I'm trying to explore different sides of drag artistry, right? When I first started out, I think because there wasn't, during the pandemic, I was a pandemic queen, there weren't spaces for us to perform live. And then people would maybe label me as a look queen or just a queen focused on aesthetics.
Yeah.
I mean, fair, because I couldn't perform then, right? But now I think people know me for like doing crazy stunts, like climbing up bars and then dropping from them, doing like inverted handstands and splits on the ceiling and stuff like that. I don't really show that on social media unless it's on my Instagram stories.
Yeah.
So I don't know, I don't want to box myself in.
Okay.
Yeah.
But do you have a signature move that everybody in the crowd would look forward to?
I could just be standing there and then just at the last minute, I'll just jump and grab a bar and then go invert it on it and do, I think it's called skinning the cat, like calisthenic speech. And then I'll do a straddle split and then just let go of the bar and just drop on the floor. Yeah. Technique, parkour. So
but
I'm not
where
hurting
did you
myself at
pick
all.
this up?
Okay, so when I was in primary school as a loner, I would just go to the gym, the playground in school, and then just play on the monkey bars and just do random stuff on it. So I think I was just a natural monkey in a sense.
And you always knew that you were flexible to do all these stunts?
So I was like in wushu, Chinese martial arts, and Chinese dance since I was in 7. Yeah, so I was quite flexible.
Look at all the things we didn't know about you.
Right, yeah. I was also drawn to wushu because of the wushu instructors from China. They were like, oh yeah, I was quite inspired by them.
Motivation.
Yes. So they could do flips and they were really like strong.
Yeah.
And yeah, I wanted to be that when I was younger, but look where I am at now.
Still
strong.
Strong, using
flips.
the fundamentals.
Yes, exactly.
Very good, without the sword.
Application. With or without a sword.
Do you have like apparatus for your drag as well? A bar.
Yeah, so
a pole.
The kun, right? The stick would be the one that's just on the ceiling. Yeah, I maybe want to turn it vertical and maybe do some pole. I don't know, maybe that's something in the future that I want to try, but yeah.
You turned 30 this year and you've been in the industry for close to 5 years. How has your view on the community changed since you started?
Frankly speaking, before drag, I didn't really involve myself so much within the nightlife scene, in a sense. I think people conflate the LGBTQ scene with the nightlife scene quite a bit, right? But there's actually a lot of initiatives that surround and complement that as well. Because people like to party, but people also like to do other stuff, right? Like book clubs, and parents also have kids, like LGBTQ parents have kids in Singapore too, but it's a whole nother topic. But they have birthday parties for them, they have like storytelling sessions and all these spaces for them to do other and bond over their queerness outside of the club scene. So I was not part of that prior to that, but also because I was still finding myself. I wasn't comfortable being this overtly effeminate, I don't know, cis male boy thing, gay boy that I previously identified as. But now drag has really brought the identity that I tried to bury all my life to the forefront. And like there's now quite a gray area between my non-drag self and my drag self. So and I think I'm okay with being in the gray, this liminal space. And I think it also parallels a lot to queer emotions, because sometimes, like for example, for me and my family who's staunchly Catholic, right? But also who's all loving, right? And there's quite a oxymoronic thing, like contradictory thing going on there. So that's very gray as well, I think. And I learned to like live in the gray, love the gray, celebrate the gray. Only after I went and all out in drag that I found more community in the LGBTQ scene. So going back to the question, I think now with that mindset, I'm totally more open going to the clubs and stuff, because I am sure of myself. I'm not trying to put on something for someone else. Yeah, so I think, drag has really pulled me out of that box. Yeah.
So what has been like the biggest takeaway that you have taken from being a drag queen, or your drag journey, to embrace yourself completely?
For me, in my experience doing drag, I've learned to love all parts of myself even more, and also to love myself so much that I celebrate all my iniquities and my imperfections, on stage and make it look beautiful and maybe inspire others at the same time. I think my journey in drag now is the storytelling part of it. Not so much about the performance of it, but the procrastination that makes me do so much at the end before a performance and showing that story, that last minute franticness, that support that I get from my grandmother.
But beyond drag, it's also about like acceptance, right?
Yeah.
Of your true self and accepting who you are.
Yeah.
I think that is definitely something that a lot of us are learning.
Yes. And I am still learning also today. I think that's one of the main things that I learned from my grandmother, my relationship with her, is that she celebrates me and supports me in whatever I do. And it's just that, that's not so much about it, but love. And in that, I also I love myself more and love all my femininity and everything. Yeah.
Wow. At this point of time, what role do you think you play in the community? Are you more a enabler or are you a motivator? What do you think?
I have a growing following, and that also comes with lots of responsibility. And I also obviously want to advocate for my community, right? I would say I am not so much of a enabler / motivator, but I am maybe more comfortable with the label of a mediator. So I'm not very extreme. I don't think I'm very good for reality TV, so they won't get like all those crazy things from me. But I rather listen to people's opinions and conversations and perspectives. And then there's always similarities and middle ground. So being comfortable in the gray, right? It's not always black and white. And I think when people listen to other people's stories, they can find a lot of compassion, empathy for others in that.
Yeah, and using your platform as a way to, relay messages and tell stories and in a way inspire others as well.
Yes. I still feel a bit like, I don't know, I'm a perfectionist. So I don't know, I don't want to downplay myself that much, but whether what I'm doing is really inspiring others, I question myself a lot. But I'm glad that a lot of people find joy and happiness in seeing me being my authentic self, and seeing the relationships and the support that I get. And they can live vicariously through me. But I think I'm just going to tell them that my life is not that exciting. It's basically making dresses and slogging it out.
And you say you're a shy person, right? How do you deal with that whole popularity thing and being in the eyes of the public?
Yeah, so I'm actually a bit awkward sometimes. So, but sometimes I just have to cycle myself, I think what Opera Tang represents now, it's more than just what I do. It's also, I don't talk so big about it, but like people associate maybe the art of drag as a platform. And I feel like it's a responsibility also. And it's entertainment also, of course.
You are now in the public eye.
Oh, yes.
And you also, everything that you put out on social media is being seen, being scrutinized sometimes, right? How do you manage or how do you deal with all the popularity and being in the eyes of the public?
I'm actually quite numb to it, I guess. So sometimes I have to like not put up the front. That's the thing with TikTok, like everyone is just like talking to the camera and I'm just here like putting a month's worth of like footage into like 1 minute max,
and
then
at
doing
the
the
same
VR.
time you also are pressured because you still need to fan service.
Yeah.
You need to make sure you have enough content for your followers because they are waiting. And that whole pressure.
Exactly. So I don't box myself into like content creation per se, but more of an artistic role. So when my output would be when inspiration strikes, or maybe at least once a month, or like
once a month.
Yeah.
Algorithm alert.
So most of the interactions with people that come up to us, it's quite simple, I guess. They just want pictures, or they just tell me how they love my content with my grandmother, and they take my grandmother's with me also. They just say hi to my grandmother and stuff. Yeah.
What would be the most common misconception you've had as a drag artist?
I think I'm so delusional. I don't think that I'm not listening to the negative comments and the misconceptions. I think they can self-educate, but I think maybe it's around my gender expression, and I think there's a lot of confusion even within myself at the start of me doing drag, right? So I don't blame others for having these misconceptions or confusions about myself because I had them also at the start.
It's also the societal norm
Exactly.
that you can't just change overnight or expect people to have, right?
Yeah, so that's why I say that I'm a mediator in a sense. So like I understand where they're coming from. I just explain to them my lived experience. And,
Do you have any like things that you get asked a lot? Like what are some of the things that you get asked a lot?
The top question that comes to my mind right now is very frivolous. Is that how do I maintain being so skinny? But I think
what's the secret?
No, I think it's just genetics. My brothers are all skinny and tall, so as long as a garment like enhances and complements your body shape and like brings out your persona, I think that's great. That's why I love fashion so much. But my secret is eating well, eating my grandmother's food maybe.
Home cooked food.
Home cooked food.
I mean, you look great, okay? Don't get me wrong. For the people in the community, right, is there any ways they can play a part in making a difference?
Support your local queer performers, go to their shows, attend LGBTQ events, and it's not all nightlife, right? There's so many now that's going on with Riot Drag Show, all the other activities that they have out. Meet other queer people and understand their life stories. I think one thing that I didn't experience that much before I did drag was also my connection with my trans sisters now is that they are one of the most like loving and open and catty people that are out there. But I didn't interact with trans people that much in my daily life as a like good Catholic boy prior to like doing drag, right? So I think when you put yourself out there and interact with other people from different walks of life, and they can be your best friends. They are some of my best friends to today. Yeah.
So in Singapore, I have a question. What's the best way to meet people?
Like queer people? Go to queer parties. Yeah. So Baby Boy, the parties that are run by Lai Chi. She's a queer lesbian burlesque performer. Runs, I think she had like the biggest turnout for a lesbian party, like not maybe ever or maybe just for this year. Yeah, that's a great way. And all these like pop-up parties, I think those are the best because they are run by people who are passionate about creating safe, fun queer spaces to celebrate queer joy. Maybe not the clubs so much, I can't speak so much of that, but yeah. But there are so many now. There's like Rabbit's Hole,
And in your own words, why is the community important to you?
Why is the community important to me? Because if there's no community, that wouldn't be me, right? By the fact that I am a drag performer, a drag queen, a drag artist, there needs to be people to perform to, right? If not, it won't be art, right?
It's a two-way street.
It's a two-way street, yeah. I would say you're also a face, different types of messages that advocacy for different type of campaigns or projects that you can do. The community is there because they are the ones who support you. They're your pillars. Without them, you won't be able to survive.
I believe we do need to live in a community that celebrates you, that lifts you up, that encourages you in whatever things that you do. Has the community ever disappointed you?
I would speak on my experience when I haven't done drag. This was prior to the pandemic. I wouldn't say it disappointed me or fell short of my expectations because I didn't have high expectations of it already. Because I was just going with the flow, going on the dating apps and stuff like that. I think just a very frivolous one would be just the discrimination within the community itself. There's a lot of misogyny, even with like misogyny as in all things feminine, all things womanly within the gay community, male community, towards maybe lesbians, towards feminine men, towards non-binary people. So there is like an unspoken but also well-established hierarchy in a sense, unofficially. But I think that's changing, and that's great because, and I think also on my part also, I subscribed to it previously because I didn't know better, right? Celebrating all forms of gender expression within the community needs to be celebrated more, I guess.
Of course, I agree. Do you have anything you like to say to your followers or fellow aspiring queens out there and all those listeners that are listening to you right now?
Thank you for the support. Amma and I love what we are doing, and without you, I wouldn't be doing drag full time today. And I'm really excited for what there is to come and what Opera Tang can be in the near future. And I really hope my grandmother lives to past 100 so I can keep doing this. No, I'm kidding. But yes, still past 100, of course. But yeah, more to come.
And on a scale of 1 to 10, where do you find yourself right now? Where are you right now?
Don't rank myself in numbers. I think what I'm feeling now and what I'm doing now is, it's going to sound so corny, but like I feel like I'm aligned with the universe already. You know,
Okay.
like, this is like me releasing myself from all these like barriers that I put up in my mind for myself, and then just going with the flow, doing what I feel most joy in, and I think people are responding to that. Yeah, and it's just comes so naturally for me.
And I have a last question.
Yes.
Do you have anything you'd like to say to baby Opera?
Oh my god. Did I send you that picture?
Yes, you did.
Okay. I don't know, maybe that.
Consented.
Okay. Oh my god. Baby Opera. This picture was taken after my mom, I think, somebody gave like a children's makeup set to my sister, and then I tagged along and put lipstick on myself and like some white eyeshadow, I think. Yeah, I think she was a very happy-go-lucky child, and I think a lot of the things that she buried during her childhood through this guise of happy-go-luckiness would slowly fade, and then one day you will find yourself. Yeah, just keep being you. Keep being that sissy boy that everybody calls out, because people will love you one day for being a sissy. Why am I crying?
Thank you so much, Opera, for being on the show.
Yeah, just I'm reclaiming that word. Oh my god. Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you.